What is up, everybody? Skratch coming up with another Raid Shadow Legends video. Today, we're gonna talk about the top 10 best AoE nukers in the entire game. Legendaries and epics. Basically, 20 amazing champions. And this is more towards Arena, guys. It doesn't mean that you cannot use these champions outside of Arena because they're amazing, amazing champions. But we haven't really did a video like this in quite a while. The meta changed a bit, some champions got buffed, some champions got added to the game, and we want to have a look to see where we're standing. Especially today that we have the 2x on Ancients, guys. Maybe you are pulling some of these champions and you want to know if this champion is strong enough to break the arena. If we're going to have a quick look at Platinum right now. So, in the top players, just as an idea, just to see what champions we have in here, we have Cupidus. His value skyrocketed. I've made a video on the duo a while ago. I'm definitely looking to revisit this and maybe make another video. I might do it today. So that's one champion that skyrocketed a lot. Foley, I feel like he downtrended. I'm very surprised to see one. Probably this is his best nuker that he has at +4, so that's why he's keeping it there. Leorius, his value skyrocketed even more just because of all the CC champions used in defense and everything else that we have going on. Is definitely a very solid one because of Mortu Macab as well. We're not gonna talk about Mortu, even though he is used in defense everywhere, okay? I might do a different video on that. Basically, these are kind of like the most champions that you're gonna see in defense. We have a Candraphone, and if I'm gonna scroll all the way down, we're gonna see Trondas, Haprax. We're gonna see a lot of amazing champions. Haprax is actually a new addition. If we're gonna have a look at the defense, just as an idea to see what exactly is happening in here, I'm not gonna bring in the bomb champions, okay? So we're not talking about bomb champions because they're not really nukers, right? They're relying on something to deal damage. But you see Leorius, Haprax, Leorius, Cupidus again, Tronda, Leorius, Tronda, and the list is keep on going. Candraphone, Leorius again. So these are definitely in the top, but what about, let's just say, top 10 legendaries? What do we have in the top 10 legendaries? If we're gonna go all the way to the index, guys, some champions I actually have built, some I don't. So I'm gonna show you kind of like some that I have built and some that I don't. If we're gonna start with, this is probably one of my most wanted champions in the entire game right now, Haprax, okay? He is amazing. He definitely has the highest multipliers in the entire game. And the whole idea with him is he's amazing for arena defense. He's good for offense too, don't get me wrong, but he's a bit more conditional compared to a Tronda or a Leorius or something like that. But for defense, he is insane because he has this crazy passive. Whenever an ally is killed, instantly activates the Haprax Scorn skill, will not put the skill on cooldown. So basically, you're gonna get to AoE everybody, okay? You're gonna destroy the opponent completely. If you have the right offense team to make it hard for the opponent to attack you, this is actually a very nice champion for defense. Of course, he buffs increased attack, increased crit rate, grants an extra turn, bang, he can move into the AoE, then the A1 places an extra hit if the attack is critical. If you are building him for defense, most probably I would suggest you 100% crit rate, so when his passive activates, you're gonna get to destroy with the AoE attacks. Places an extra hit on targets with less than 50% HP after the first hit, and will ignore 15% of the target's defense. Very good base stats for a damage dealer. I'm actually gonna move a bit my big head around from here so we can see the stats. Let me put myself right there. Haprax, definitely one of the top nukers in the game. We have Candraphone in here. I'm actually gonna show you the build for Candraphone. I'm just quickly looking to see what champions I don't have built at the moment. So if we're gonna go at the Sacred Order, Constantine. Now, when we had him on the test server, he was kind of rubbish, okay? Since then, he got a bit of a buff. He can hit pretty hard as well. His base attack is not out of the ordinary, but the multipliers are kind of like compensating for it. The damage he gets from the books compensates for it as well. So all around, this hits extremely powerful. Attacks all enemies 2 times. Each hit will ignore 10% of each target's defense for every leech. Defense down, block active skills. If you go with defense down, that's already very nice. Void affinity, so I don't see why people wouldn't use him if they get him. Now, If you have Tronda, Leorius, Haprock, probably you're not gonna use him, you know what I mean? But if you don't, he's actually extremely, extremely powerful. I have him on my account. Probably I'm gonna revisit him at some point and do a guide on him, because I feel like since we had him on the test server, I never really actually looked at the champion again, but he hits very, very hard. I don't think I have him built, or if I do, is nothing special. Cupidus, I'm actually rebuilding mine. I haven't finished the rebuilding process on him today. What changed on him is that he gets to counterattack whenever he is on the same team with Venus. This makes him a very popular choice for Platinum Arena offense team, defense teams. You're gonna see him all around, and for fair reason. You know, the A1 AoE damage increases by 15 if the target has any debuffs. Pretty nice. Right here places a HP burn AoE. This has a solid multiplier of 4.0. Increases attack on himself. Attacks inflict 25% more damage. Always counterattacks when attacked. When Venus is on the same team, so you're doing more damage and always counterattacking. That's what makes him so freaking amazing. If you want to make the most out of it, you kind of need a Venus to make him rock, to make him shine, you know? If not, there are better options as just raw damage for Arena than just using a Cupidus on its own. He has a pretty good attack aura for all battles by 33%. If we're gonna have a quick look at a different champion, so I'm bringing in defense Nukers as well, guys, not only attack. I feel like I cannot make a top 10 Nukers, most used Nukers at the moment in the game, because the sky will fall in my head if I'm not bringing in a Solus and Ragash. So if we're gonna go at the Skinwalkers, we have Ragash right here. He was a guaranteed champion, a new addition. I didn't have the shots to go for him, unfortunately, so I don't have him. Increases ally defense in all battles by 30. This skill attacks all enemies, has a chance to land defense down, and then has a chance to stun. It deals very, very solid damage. Really, really good, actually. And this one places strengthen, increased speed on all allies for 2 turns, and a perfect veil buff on this champion. The passive is pretty good too. Inflicts 20% more damage against targets whose defense is lower than this champion's defense. And that's gonna happen pretty much against any other champion that you're attacking, because you're gonna give him tons of defense instead of attack, you know? So most of the champions, they have high HP in Arena now. This is definitely gonna come in play. That's why it's so good. And A1 attacks one enemy 2 times, places an increased defense buff on this champion for 2 turns. So you don't really need necessarily a Sifi in the team. Ragash, a very, very powerful champion, definitely top tier nuker. I'm gonna show you Leorius with my build, because I have him built actually. Cleopteryx definitely deserves a mention, but we're gonna leave all the mentions towards the end, guys. If we're gonna have a quick look at what other champion I don't have built, I can't remember if Yanikash is built 100%, but that's fine. If we're gonna go right here, Ethos, he is still a top 10 nuker for Arena. I feel like he belongs in there because he is Void Affinity, good base attack, good skills. He has multiple AoEs, right, which is very, very important. His A1 hits like a tank, has a chance to grant an extra turn. This is a multi-hit, can be pretty nice. This one smacks pretty hard. Now, he's definitely not in my top 3, top 5 choices, but he's definitely awesome as a champion, you know? He can smack pretty hard. The build that I have on him is more towards PvE. I'm using him to solo the Mino. I'm using him for my Nightmare campaign farm, so I don't have my craziest gear on him, considering that this is a +4 empowered champion, you know? He does have decent stats, considering that, but I could make him much better if I would decide to make him kind of like my main nuker or something like that. All around, he's pretty freaking powerful. I'll show you the masteries that I have, tier 6 Ham Smasher, just in case if anyone is curious about that. The next champion that we have on the list, guys, Solus. So I'm using Solus quite a lot. You need a Sifi to make this work mainly, or you need a different champion that gives increased defense to use defense-based nukers in go-first teams, you know? You can use different teams that go second and have a defense nuker without a problem. I have him on Savage. Basically, the A1 has a chance to stun, hits pretty hard. The A2 attacks 3 times at random. Each hit has a 100% chance to remove all buffs. Very, very nice. Now, if you're gonna remove a buff, you're gonna land Provoke, and the Provoke cannot be resisted. It deals pretty good damage, is a good cleanup skill. Unfortunately, the defense nukers, they don't have 2 AoE skills. We have Ignatius, but Ignatius doesn't really compare with Solus or with Ragash, you know? Even though he has the highest multipliers and stuff like that, it just doesn't do it. It just doesn't cut it. I'm just gonna mention Ignatius. He does not belong in top 10 by any means. Reign of Terror. Attacks all enemies, increases the duration of all debuffs on all targets by 1 turn, then places a provoke debuff on all enemies for 1 turn. And a shield on this champion, which is very, very powerful. Damage increases by 10 for each debuff on the target. Unfortunately, the aura is for faction creeps only. It doesn't work for all battles. It would have been nice. But he smacks super hard. These are the stats that I have on him. I cannot wait to get another one so I can make him a +4, you know? That would be actually amazing. Hopefully at some point it's gonna happen. And masteries, I have offense and support 3. Just a bit of accuracy to help me out in case if is needed. The next champion that we have on the list, guys. No one else but Leorius the Proud. So I actually got a nice upgrade for him the other day. From a Chaos Ore. Oof. And today I got a 6-star glyph and the first one maxed it. So beautiful. I'm super happy with that. He's even happier than I am. My kitty cat. I have him on Savage and Cruel. He's so good for this meta, guys, because he places Unkillable on himself. He's immune to CC debuffs, right? Stun, Freeze, Sleep, Provoke, Fear, True Fear, Petrification. Whenever this skill is on, he has a chance to land the Fear. So if you have a bit of accuracy on him and stuff. All around, he hits super hard. If he drops HP, he just obliterates enemies. So if his HP drops by 99%, you're not gonna survive it. Like, he just hits so freaking hard when he drops HP. The A1 has a chance to land the defense down and attacks one enemy 2 times. Damage increases by 20 if the target has less than 60% HP, which is pretty good sometimes because the first hit can take it under the 60% and the second can just do more damage. I have him on this build. Total stats: 7,300 attack, 186 speed, full crit rate, 287 crit damage, and I have 233 accuracy. Being empowered to +2 actually helps quite a bit. Now, he is a bit more tricky because his base attack is much lower if you're comparing him with a Tronda or with any other champion. 1,400 is a massive difference compared to 1,600, you know. If I would put this gear on Tronda, she will definitely get a crazy amount of attack. She will probably be at around 8k attack. Leorius is probably the most used offense nuker in the entire game at the moment in the current meta, guys. The next champion, Conditional. I have him built on a Cruel and a Swift Parry set. He needs some attack glyphs, he needs some speed glyphs, because I changed the build recently on him. Basically, he's still very powerful for defense, and that's mainly because of the passive, bringing the Veil, the damage reduction. Even if you lock him with the Warlord, the A1 hits super hard, extra hit. The A2 obliterates when you have the perfect Veil on. And increased attack. He's actually pretty powerful. The aura for all arena battles. He fits very nice in a lot of defense teams, and he's used quite a lot even in offense, not only defense, you know. So these are the total stats that I have on him. 7k attack, 185 speed, full crit rate, 288 crit damage. And I have quite a bit of HP. I would love to lower that HP by a little bit, just to don't mess up my hegemon, but it's not that easy. Counter-attack accessories on him. If you have a reaction, they're actually super nice. Masteries, out of all the champions, I would say that he has kind of like the weirdest masteries all around, okay? If he's getting demolished, I would like him to heal a bit, so I have Life Drinker, you know? And that actually can help us quite a bit, just in case if an Arbiter will come in to clean up, maybe she's not gonna kill him and he's gonna get to smack them back. Having deterrence is important for Chimars and stuff like this. And Retribution, of course, because why not? We want to counter-attack with him as often as possible. Tier 6 Helm Smasher. The next champion, we have Tronda. Now, I have a couple of Trondas. I have the immunity one, which probably I'm using a bit more often than the Savage one. You know kind of like how it goes with her. This skill is very powerful. It's super hard. This one as well is a very unique skill that brings in a lot of damage to the opponents too, once it kind of like splashes the damage. Increases magic ally attack in all battles by 36%, so that's great for herself when she's doing the damage. I would say she kind of like downtrended a bit in the current meta. I feel like she's not as used as she used to be a few months ago. I feel like Leorius kind of took her spot for the very end game Platinum Arena at the moment. She's still very, very powerful though. So Helm Smasher as tier 6. I don't even know why I have the support masteries on her. That's something that I actually haven't even checked. But honestly, I just can't remember if I've done something for some specific thing and I forgot about it. That must be what happened, but I cannot remember what. I would definitely go on counter attack. I'll show you the masteries that I have on the other one, and I gotta change those masteries. Johnny, was that you when you played my account when I was away? Maybe. Yannicka. So I knew that I removed a piece of gear from her. She is on Savage. She's pretty nice, man. She's great against the bolster set meta, if they don't have all of them stone skin and stuff. Extra hit from here. This skill actually hits so freaking hard. It's a 6-point-something multiplier. Very, very powerful. And then, you're getting the extra turn. You can move over to the AoE. Get Perfect Veil. Make the A1 into an AoE. You have an attack aura for all battles. Yannick, I feel like she definitely deserves the spot in the top 10. Yeah, we have Foley. We have Astrolon, Abyss, Yakal, Cleopteryx. So many other champions, but I tend to like her a bit more than those. Bruel, the Hans Master, awesome champion. He needs setup, so he's not really used for arena. That's why he doesn't make my top 10. Even though he's definitely in the top 5 hardest hitting champions in the entire game, you know. I'm missing the crit damage gloves on Yannicka, guys. I can't really show you the stats because it will be a bit pointless, but masteries, if you're curious to see. Tier 6, we have Helm Smasher. That, you see, every Nuker has slightly different masteries depending what exactly I need them to do for my team, basically, you know. And I feel like we cover pretty much every single legendary champion, every single Nuker, you know. We do have quite a few others that worth mentioning, you know, like we have Hundig, that's nice. Even Karato can be pretty good at nuking. But this is kind of like my top 10 champions that I think that the best in the current meta for arena and probably the most used champion. So this would be the masteries I would run on Tronda. I honestly don't know why I had those masteries on the other one. I definitely need to change them. Now, if we're moving over to epic champions, I actually changed the builds on a couple. So let me just pull them out of the vault for you guys. I know I rebuilt my Skull Crowns. I rebuilt my Sinesha actually. I feel like my Gamebo is still pretty solid all around as a champion. I just gotta check if he's in the vault or he's not. Because I'm using some of this mainly for faction wars. Like, I have all the legendary options except Haprock, which I'm hoping I'm going to get today. You know? So, I'm not really using epics for arena as damage dealers, but there are definitely quite a few champions out there that deal solid damage. You see, like, I don't have crazy builds on them. They're kind of like more realistic for the majority of the player base. I just showed you how I have my other ones built in case if anyone was curious. This is a solid one, but I don't have him built too crazy either. Feels like he's just carrying some gear at the moment. But you know what? I'm gonna show you the builds on these 3 champions, and then I'm gonna move to the index to talk about the rest. Because if not, we're gonna take too long just to look for champions. Gamebo the Dishonored, right? We know what he can do. Speed aura. He ignores unkillable when under increased attack. Very nice. He buffs himself with crit rate, crit damage, extra turn, moves over to the next skill, and decreases the duration of all buffs. This effect cannot be resisted. Very, very nice. The A1 has a chance to still increase attack. He's very nice as a champion. Similar multipliers with Astrolon, Foley, Cupidus actually. All that matters on these champions is what multipliers they're getting from the books and the base attack. That's pretty important. But Gamebo, very nice as a champion, of course. Skull Crown. I actually rebuilt her recently. Her and Sinesha, they're still amazing for Blender comps. If anyone is running that to farm medals in Gold 4, Gold 5, you can run them for Platinum Arena. Blender comps are just completely dead, you know. I would not suggest you to build one. Speed aura for Arena. Unkillable on herself when she drops her HP under 20. Attacks all enemies. A chance to land weakened. This hits pretty hard. The A1 AoE. Extra hit if the target has more than 50% HP. These are the stats on my Skull Crown. So she's on Savage and crit rate set. She's actually built pretty well. I don't know why I gave her such good gear, but she's built pretty well. Maybe because I got pissed off with the secret rooms or something like that. And because I'm not using her in Faction Wars anymore. And tier 6, we have Helm Smasher. If we're gonna move a bit lower to find her sister, there we go, Sinesha. She's on Stun and Cruel. I think I'm using her in Faction Wars. If I'm not, I'm definitely using her in Secret Rooms as well. So a stun set is very, very important. 4k attack, 98 crit rate, 244 crit damage, 180 speed. I wish she would be a bit faster, you know. If she would be a bit faster, it would be nice because her A2 heals, so we want to have that on point. Her A3 heals. The A1 places an extra hit on enemies with less than 50% HP, so that works really well paired with the Skull Crown. You know, Skull Crown attacks first, Sinesha attacks first. Basically, you're getting double hits from both of the direction and knocking down the opponent. So that's pretty good. The next champions that we have on the list, guys. Magnar. I do remember that I have Magnar built right now, but he is in the vault somewhere. So he's still the best HP nuker in the entire game. Seems like they're not planning to bring another one in here. Attacks all enemies, extra hit on enemies without HP burn. It's pretty good to build this champion because you're getting HP from pretty much every piece. You're not dependable of increased attack or increased defense, same like a Solus or a Tronda or another champion like that. That's why he's so freaking powerful. I'm definitely using this champion, not for arena at the moment, but I'm using him in secret rooms. I'm using him in faction wars. All around, he's a beast of a champion. Definitely worth building if you pulled one this weekend, guys. 100%. Moving over to other champions. Alika. She is so freaking amazing. I do think I have her built for my faction wars team, actually. So Alika, guys, she hits so damn hard with all of her skills. This one ignores 50% of the target's defense. This one right here attacks all enemies, has a chance to increase the cooldown of all enemy skills by 1 turn. So much damage on a 3-turn cooldown, and the A1 has a 30% chance of placing an extra hit. This hit is always critical. Very, very nice. Pair with her sister, they get to kind of like revive each other sort of thing when they're dying. They need a lot of books, that's the problem with them. She doesn't have a very high base attack. She gets quite a bit of damage from here. And her multipliers are very, very impressive. I can't really remember exactly what, but very solid for an epic champion, you know. So definitely top tier. We do have this fusion that just ended now, which actually has pretty good multipliers. Nogorio. It just ended or is about to end. The A1, an extra hit. I'm not sure how many of you guys actually went for the fusion. Somehow I missed 15 fragments around because I wasn't really bothered. Because anyway, I'm gonna pull this champion at some point. So I'm missing 15 fragments. I don't have the fusion. The A2 attacks one enemy, places block buffs. If the champion is under increased attack, steals all buffs from the target before attacking. And this one right here attacks all enemies, decreases the cooldown of this skill by 1 turn. So this champion doesn't have a very high base attack. He has 20% damage from the books, and he has better multipliers than Gembo. Correct me if I'm wrong. So all around, he should hit harder. Of course, he just doesn't bring as much utility. Places increased attack when an enemy's HP drops below 30. The buff cannot be removed. So it's interesting. I don't see him out of the ordinary. I would still prefer to use a Gembo. Affinity, the speed aura, and everything in his kit is much better all around for an epic nuker, you know. But if you got the fusion, guys, and you're lacking on nukers, he's definitely not a bad option to have on your side. I'm just trying to see who else I missed in here. So if we're gonna go at the undead, we do have Dark Elhain, which can definitely still fit in the current meta because of Torments, freeze champions. Her passive is very nice. Instantly removes freeze, gives herself a buff, crit rate, free damage, strengthen, increase attack, bang, then attacks, decrease speed on the enemies. She's very, very nice. She doesn't do as much damage as probably the ones that I just mentioned before, but she brings her own utility. She's very nice against specific teams. She's free for everybody. So definitely another champion worth building if you need her. If you want to have fun against Torments, you might need her for secret rooms, not only for arena. So she's definitely a pretty good option. Most probably I have all these epics built around, guys. Some of them, they might be missing a piece of gear or something, because I'm constantly rebuilding champions, and I constantly forget to build them back. You know, that's kind of like what happens with my stuff here. The next champion is no one else but Kaitis. He is more conditional, okay? But this skill, it's harder than Tronda. Hands down, this skill obliterates opponents if you make it work. This is a secret skill and becomes available when this champion has lost 50% of their HP. If you pull the Kaitis today, do not feed him, okay? If you're gonna use the Cardinal team strategy on Stone Skin, this is the champion that you gotta put in that, okay? This is the one he's gonna hit harder than anyone else. You won't regret it. Trust me when I'm telling you that. So all around, such a powerful champion is mainly just because of this skill. This one doesn't really do much. Places increase attack, attacks at random, and this one attacks one enemy only. But this skill right here is what makes this champion shine, you know, because if you wouldn't know about this skill, probably you'll be like, okay, this is just, what, another chicken. I'm gonna use this champion as a chicken. We have Zargala from the Orcs. She's still better than Siege Hulk. Siege Hulk kind of like deserves a mention. He's from the Ogres, if I'm not mistaken. She's the OG, man. She's the OG, attacks all enemies 3 times. She used to be that champion 3 years ago that used to break everybody in arena. When you used to attack teams with her, you knew that you're about to lose because she's gonna destroy you. But she's actually a pretty nice champion. Attacks one enemy, instantly activates the crack armor skill if this target is killed by the attack. Chance to land weak and defense down. Still a good champion, even though she got a bit power creeped. I feel like she still deserves that top 10 spot for epic champions, you know? And of course, it cannot be a top 10 without Seer. Not only for PvE, guys, but even for PvP. If you are using her with champions that buff a lot, she's gonna do so much damage with the build that you have for PvE. Trust me, mine does very, very good damage as well on arena, and it's all about the karma burn. Strips all the buffs. You do need to have 100% crit rate on her to make it work. But Seer, another awesome epic champion. And how I mentioned, Siege Hulk, it definitely deserves a mention because he's pretty decent too. In places increase attack, then attacks all enemies, chance to land the defense down. This one right here buffs quite a bit. And the A1 attacks one enemy, decreases the thermometer. Good base attack, good multipliers from the books. His normal multipliers are only 3.6 if I'm not mistaken, if I remember it correctly. But all around, guys, these are some of the best epic champions as AoE damage dealers that you want to use for arena. Now, quite a few champions deserve a mention as legendaries. Like Baron can be pretty good in specific teams. Ray, Rule the Huntsmaster. We have Astralon, Abyss. We have Yakal. We have Cisia. She can actually nuke pretty hard. Cleopteryx, Robar, Foley, Hundig, Ignatius. But I feel like they don't belong in the top 10 at the moment. Hegemon can be used as well, of course. Very powerful champion. But he's not really in that top 10 as the damage dealer. I feel like he downtrended quite a bit as well. Maybe he kind of fits in that top 10 in a way or another. But yeah, maybe not in this one today. That was all for this video. Let me know in the comments down below which one is your favorite nuker, which one is your most used nuker, and which one is the most wanted nuker, guys. But that was all for this video. Much love. Appreciate all of you guys watching. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to smash that like, subscribe, and I'll catch you all soon in the next video. Peace.